Prepare to get gas because it's time for the Week in Gear. I'm Andy and welcome to the show that brings you the most exciting guitar gear released over the last 7 days. This week, JHS Pedals managed to turn a colossal blunder into an $89 fan favorite boost. Positive Grid decided that amplifiers were just a bit too simple, so they gave them AI brains that you can literally text into existence. And Epiphone put out a surprisingly affordable guitar that might just sway you to play authentic. This episode is sponsored by Walrus Audio and their juicy pedal power supplies. Now, before we get any further, 80% of people that watch my videos don't subscribe to my channel. It is the easiest way that you can support something that you enjoy, so please do that now if you haven't already. Oh, by the way, this is Carl, and Carl doesn't subscribe to the channel. Carl is sad. You, Carl! Yeah, so Carl is sad. Don't be like Carl. Click subscribe. That was unbelievably fun and therapeutic. Whew. Now, let's kick off the gear list this week with something that effectively proves that if you fail hard enough, people might actually line up to pay you for the privilege. First up, we have The Fumble from JHS Pedals, a pedal that literally exists because of the biggest mistake in JHS history. Let's talk about it. In May 2025, JHS released a DIY kit called the Not a Dumble, which was supposed to include a clean buffer based on a rare Dumble loop device. Instead, Josh Scott accidentally used a completely different circuit that he'd reverse engineered for John Mayer back in 2019, a Dumble BBC-1. It turns out that legendary circuit is actually a clone of a 1970s Barkus Berry acoustic guitar preamp, and the Fumble is a faithful, compact production version of that exact circuit. It features just the two knobs, a master output, and a fairly unique input control that simultaneously attenuates bass and input gain. So it's a JFET clean boost that tightens everything up downstream. It runs on 9V DC center negative, consumes just 5 milliamps, tiny, and is assembled in Kansas City. Now, I admire Josh for completely owning his mistake here. In fact, he owns it so gracefully that the whole thing feels a bit like a conspiracy theory to sell more pedals. And I'm not going to wear my tinfoil hat for this, but my skepticism level started to bubble up when I first heard about The Fumble. But I did relax, and I landed on the side of believing that this was a genuine mistake and that people actually want this boost because the Not a Dumble V1 sold out and it will not be made again. And when you combine JHS, Dumble, and John Mayer, you have the golden trifecta of marketing. Also, the Not a Dumble version 2 will be available very soon. JHS, genius. For me, the Fumble is coming up at around just under 100 euros. But if you're not in euros and you want to know the exact pricing on all things in this episode, the QR code is over there and the links are in the video description. I think this is a fair price for a JFET boost with JHS's name on it and with a story that's 3 generations deep. A clone of a clone of a clone, I think it is. Do you need it? Nah, not really. And JHS seem to know that. It is fun, but not something that I would run out and get, which is why the gasometer reaches borrow it. Now, if you were lurking on the gear forums this week, you might have seen some blurry photos and panicked threads about a massive pedal leak. Almost want to put my tin hat on again. Well, the rumors were entirely real, and Eventide has officially dropped the curtain on the successor to one of the most famous multi-effects units of the last 10 or so years. This is the brand new Eventide H9 Harmonizer Gen 2. For over a decade, the original H9 has been an absolute staple on pro pedal boards. But, let's be brutally honest, the single knob interface and the HAL sort of computer readout was a bit of a nightmare. If you wanted to do any serious editing, you were essentially forced to use the app. And Eventide clearly listened after over a decade because they've completely overhauled the hardware. The Gen 2 features a brand new 2.5-inch display, 3 dedicated quick knobs and some button pads. And that means you finally have full control over select and bank and perform modules directly on the pedal itself. You no longer have to tether this thing via USB to your laptop just to tweak a simple delay tail. Underneath that new screen, they've ripped out the old DSP and dropped in modern ARM-based processing architecture. Ooh. It comes loaded with over 74 algorithms, including the full H90 and H9 Max libraries, and supports over 1,000 presets. They've also included their high-fidelity SIFT technology, which is very fun to say, and that powers their legendary polysynth, polyphony, polyflex, and prism shift engines. They've also packed in the Harmonizer Plus vocal suite, which is designed to transform your vocals when paired with the mixing link, and it is built for both the stage and the studio. It offers line level and instrument level I/O. There's flexible routing, there's effects spillover, there's a built-in tuner. It connects via USB-C, and it's got full-size MIDI, and it's got expression pedal inputs. And while it doesn't have it right now, Eventide have confirmed that Bluetooth features are coming in a future update. That is a lot of stuff. Right, this is pretty exciting, and although pre-orders are already possible, it actually goes for sale, as in being sent out in a couple of weeks, just after my birthday. And yeah, well, even though there are cheaper options for multi-effects pedals, and there's one in this video, Eventide's algorithms are highly sought after. And having played through them on many of their pedals and rack units, I get it. The original H9 sounded great, but didn't really give guitar players the necessary visual and tactical buttons feed. It was too difficult to use for guitar players. So it is great that Eventide have paid attention to how the market has shifted, and I'm really into this, and I hope I get to play one very soon. Price is just under about 600 notes, and some retailers have them already, and you can order from Eventide direct. Links down there as well as that. If you want the pinnacle of studio-grade algorithms in a compact and stage-ready format that you can actually edit on the fly, the gasometer is firmly at buy it now. You know, this pedal is superb, but doesn't work very well if you don't have any power. So, let's talk about this week's sponsor, the Walrus Audio Canvas HP. The Week in Gear has been sponsored by Walrus Audio and their Canvas Power Series before, but in this episode we're talking about a very special model, the Canvas Power HP Plus, which I don't currently have, but I'm going to have to get a hold of one, and let me tell you why. The Canvas Power Series does offer clean power with 500 milliamps of power to each and every output. However, the Canvas HP Plus has another trick up its sleeve. If you're running a hybrid board, meaning you've got a few delay pedals, a few analog drive pedals, but the brain and core of your sound is something like a Quad Cortex or a Helix, then maybe having a Canvas Power HP Plus would tidy up your board, because this not only would power your regular pedals, but it's got enough juice in it that it can also power the modeler itself. If you take a closer look at this photo just here, you'll see that not only can you switch this between 12 volts and 9 volts, it's also outputting 3 amps. And that is more than enough to power all those modelers that are out there, including the ones that are mentioned in this video. And if I click through these photos, you'll see that you've got the 9 volts, the regular 500 milliamps, and the USB-C, but also a meter to tell you how hard your power supply is working. So there's a direct indicator on here of how much power is being used by the power supply, which is genius. Also, the HP Plus comes with a bunch of cables that will fit your modeler or multi-effects system. There's one there for the HX Stomp, there's Quad Cortex and Boss ME90, the Eventide H9, and the Headrush. A quality power supply makes the world of difference to any rig, and if you're running something hybrid, I think this is the way to go. So thank you to Walrus Audio and Face Distribution for sponsoring this episode of The Week in Gear. Let's go talk about some more gear. Hold on to your digital devices. Positive Grid is officially moving their technology from the bedroom to the stage with their new Reactor Amp series. These are fully fledged wooden cabinet amplifiers available in 50 watt or 100 watt 1x12 combo formats. Let's talk about it. These feature Amp Intelligence, AI, which allows you to create tones by simply providing an input. You can describe a sound in natural language with text to tone, or you can upload a recording for audio to tone, or use an image for image to tone. And I don't know what that last one is. That needs to be discussed, well, certainly explored and then discussed. The Reactor analyzes those inputs and generates an amp configuration, an effects chain, and a whole signal path in seconds, apparently. This is built for the gigging musician. These come loaded with 24 factory amp models, 27 effects. You get a full suite of connectivity, including an effects loop, a DIN, 5-pin MIDI input, that's the full-size one, and a USB-C audio interface for 24-bit 48 kilohertz recording. Numbers are tough today. This also includes 8 customizable onboard presets and a built-in tuner right on the front panel. Yeah, it is not surprising that Positive Grid have joined the gigging musicians amplifier world. And by that I mean the people that currently play Boss Katanas. I'm a huge fan of the Spark 2, and although it is possible to gig with that by using it through a powered cab or a PA system, that is a bit clunky. So seeing Positive Grid take on the likes of Boss and Blackstar and even Fender? No, the Tollmaster's a bit more expensive, but that sort of price range, the 300 to 500, this makes a logical move for Positive Grid. I'm getting a bit stuck on it because it's so much AI. I need to point out that you can just dial in the tones as well with your fingers on the knobs. Anyway, the Amp Intelligence is a very interesting feature that I think will alienate a huge part of the guitar community and excite another part. My bottom line on this is that if it makes playing music fun and accessible without hurting anybody, then it's a good thing. That doesn't cover all AI used with music. I have a deep hatred for some AI things that exist out there at the moment. But this, is it hurting anybody? I don't think it is, by analysing people's sounds and helping you recreate that guitar tone. No. If you disagree, let me know. I'd like my mind opened. Personally, I can't wait to try this one. It does feel a bit Skynet, but at the moment, I'm down to clown. Ironically, I think that most people buying this amp will still be bedroom players, but they'll be bedroom players that want an amp that looks like an amp, rather than one that looks like a Bluetooth speaker. Let me know also your thoughts on that in the comment section, please. Prices start at just over 300 notes, which, when comparing it to other gear on this list, is pretty crazy. If you want a stage-ready amp that sits in your bedroom and lets you literally text your tone into existence, the gasometer is firmly at buy it now. I'm excited by this. Now, we've spent the past few minutes drowning in multi-effects, AI-generated amp modeling, and enough menu diving to make your brain turn to mush. Sometimes you just need to pick up a guitar and hit a G chord, or put the capo on the second and hit an E minor, and hear a piece of wood actually vibrate. but sometimes you don't want to spend too much money doing it. Well, hello Epiphone. This is the Epiphone Hummingbird Tribute. Drawing from the legendary Gibson Hummingbird, this model captures the hummingbird essence for a fraction of the cost. It features the iconic square-shouldered dreadnought shape that made the original a staple in music history. Its body combines layered mahogany back and sides with a select layered spruce top. It's been selected, not just thrown on there. The neck is mahogany with a comfortable rounded C profile, yum yum yum, and a 24 3/4 inch scale length. That is topped with a 12-inch radius Laurel fretboard, so there's some money saving there. Complete that with 20 frets, dot inlays, and antique ivory colored binding for that premium touch. Aesthetically, I need a drink. Aesthetically, I think it nails it. And there's that binding that is the extra touch. They could have left this off, but it does make the finish pop. Just a heads up for the stage players, this is purely an acoustic instrument. There are no electronics or pickups included. It comes in 3 high gloss finishes. Let me see if I can remember them. Ebony, Heritage Cherry Sunburst, and Antique Natural. Antique Natural being my favorite. But for my left-handed friends, hello, you'll be happy to know that the Heritage Cherry Sunburst is available for you too. So if you know a lefty, tell them about this one and say, stop complaining and learn to play guitar the correct way around. I do have to, get away from that, I do have to draw attention to the tuners on this guitar because they look like the cheapest tuners available. They do not look, as Epiphone call them, deluxe. And I wish companies would avoid using words that definitely do not describe the feature being described. I don't expect them to use the word cheap, but deluxe is a lie. I probably shouldn't pick on Epiphone here because many of the large brands do this, and maybe I'm overthinking a tiny piece of this whole guitar package, but calling those tuners deluxe cheapens the rest of the guitar for me and then lowers my trust level for Epiphone. I think it's naughty. Epiphone, you need to do better because I think you have a great guitar here that doesn't need that level of naughtiness. Let's talk price. For me, this is coming in at around 250 notes, which puts it directly in competition with brands like Harley Benton and possibly, more importantly, used Epiphones, which is some of the best guitars you can get when buying a guitar for this acoustic playing that we sometimes do. I know Gibson position themselves as a luxury brand, but I really think they're missing out with Epiphone guitars now coming in at between sort of 600 and 1,000 notes, and definitely with not enough emphasis on the real budget end. I 100% support Epiphone for releasing guitars at this price point, and I think it could be a major step for the guitar market. If Epiphone reclaim this price point as theirs, we could see far less inspired models from other brands in the near future. Competition between brands is always good for us, the consumer, and I'd be really, really excited to put this up against a Harley Benton or an Orangewood. This feels like Epiphone are not trying to make money, but instead putting their foot down and releasing guitars they should be. If you want an almost authentic hummingbird and you don't need to plug it in and play live, Epiphone are working really hard to get your money here, and I need to reward that. The gasometer is at a hopeful buy it now.
Andy's Pick of the Week.
If you look at the massive AI-driven gear this week and think, that's amazing, I want something tiny that I can throw in my backpack or gig bag, then Mooer has just issued a serious warning shot to the modeling world. This is genuinely very surprising. This is the Mooer GE 100 Pro and the battery-powered GE 100 Pro Li for lithium. Mooer has completely revamped their design language here, giving these units a sleek, futuristic, Apple-y kind of look and highlighted by this 3.5-inch color display and a built-in RGB ambient lighting strip, question mark. Under the hood, it uses what they call MNRS Intelligent Reverse Modeling Technology for amp and preamp simulations. It also officially supports loading NAM, that's the Neural Amp Modeler sample files, alongside third-party impulse responses. You can even use the Mooer AI Assistant mobile app to generate custom settings based on your text prompts. Prompts, there's a T in there. Feature-wise, you get over 200 total effects models, 150 preset slots, an 80-second stereo looper, and a drum machine with 40 grooves. 40 grooves. It has Bluetooth audio streaming and a Type-C USB port for desktop editing and direct mobile OTG recording. That's an audio interface that works with your phone, therefore will also work with your computers. If you opt for the GE100 Pro Li version, you get an integrated lithium-ion battery, and that delivers up to about 9 hours of playtime. Now, this is a lot to digest. Before we get any further, let's talk about the price. The Mooer GE100 Pro comes in at just under 100 euros, and the battery-powered version at just under 120 euros. I have to bring up the fact that they've called it the Pro. It is the GE100 Pro, not a Pro model, so it's not the same thing as the Pro or Deluxe tuners from Epiphone. So it's a GE100 Pro. So you've kept it at the 100 level but called it Pro. Okay, I get it. I'll let them off a little bit for this. But the thing is, if this thing sounds good, those prices are pretty insane. For a unit that loads in NAM profiles plus has all the rest of the stuff included, I think it's hard to find something wrong with this on the surface. Considering that this is just a little bit more expensive than the Fumble Boost, it's really hard for me to make it all make sense. This is a clear pick of the week because it's going to enable a lot of people to make sounds they want to make, and that's always good. The gasometer confirms that my wallet is indeed on fire, but it's a gentle fire because I haven't heard it yet, and the sounds could really suck. So there is a nice flameage there, but one that's under control. Ooh, windy pops. One last time, here is the QR code you can scan that will take you to all the stuff that you need, but that information is still in the first comment and in the video description. Let me know in the comments what price pops up for you. A massive thank you to everybody who watches the show and subscribes. All right there, Carl? But as a special thanks, as always, here we go. To the Patreon supporters scrolling past my face right now, hello there, and thank you. And a huge hello there, and thanks to the YouTube members on screen. It is, as always, a pleasure to have you all as part of the show. If you want to join them, please do, links down there. And now a special shout out to the top tier members. Here we go. Antonio Cruz Beretta, Buddha Blue, Boom Shakalaka, Buzzle, Chris Kelly, Craig's Fist, Darth Bagel, David Meyer, Dirk, Doug Paget, Fuzz Onkel, Jindrik Strelka, Johnny McBadminton, Kultur Pop, Mike CQB241, Mike Lute, Andrew Morgan, Craig Verbuff, Darius Lives, Gary O'Neill, Josh Tamberg, Man, Dude, Bro, Fat Raptor, PQ Deads, Sarang Narayan, Sanya Chen, Sarah Marie, Southern Panda 33, TWIG is inconceivable, brilliant, good show, man. Whew. Now, thank you very much. That concludes your gear rundown for this week. Drop your pick of the week into the comments section and include the word affordable in your comment to let include the word deluxe to let the world know that you watched to the end. See you next time. Bye-bye!